What's going on, guys? Michael here from TYT YuGiOh, and today I'm going to be coming at you guys with a discussion on a trend that's really just been sweeping the metagame lately, and that's this idea of what I like to call sort of 3 good cards to 1 bad card. Now, before anyone accuses me of being, some savage content stealer, I do want to shout out Doug Zeef. He has a YouTube channel. It's like D Zeef or something, like with 2 E's, 2 F's. And he's also an author for TCG players, so this is kind of what sparked my idea, actually, because he sort of wrote an article about this topic today. But I just wanted to explain it, a little bit more in a little bit of a different way. And, if any of you guys haven't seen that article or his video, I think the video is called 3 Good Cards, 1 Bad Card, then definitely check it out. But the topic that I'm talking about is this trend that players have gotten into of playing 3, enabler cards, and then 1 card that, you don't want to draw, and is not good on its own, but then is good with the enabler cards. So I'm talking about things like in Burning Abyss, PK Fire playing 3 Speedroy Terratop and 1 Togtenborg. Since the most recent ban lists, we have things like 3 Instant Fusion to 1 Elder Entity Norden, and obviously we have 3 Brilliant Fusions and the infamous Garnet. So all of those obviously are played with 3 good cards, let's say in the Terratop case. Terratop is obviously the good card that you play 3 of, that you want to see in your opening hand, and then Togtenborg is the bad card that doesn't do anything without the Terratop. So I sort of want to explain why the ratio of 3 to 1 is the appropriate ratio. But before I can do that, there's really something that you guys have to think about or understand, and that's you have to think about the value of the good and bad cards in your deck before you can determine if you want to play them or something. So I think it's easy to look at an example. So let's think about Speedroid, Terratop, and Togtenborg in Burning Abyss. So resolving Terratop is broken, because no matter what you have in your hand, if you have 3 Twin Twisters, the Kaiju spell, and then Terratop in your hand, the Terratop guarantees that you're going to be able to advance your game state, at least to some extent. So Terratop is super important, super good. Another example, Brilliant Fusion in Fluffles, right? You send Wings, and then that gets you your draw combo, and you draw 2 cards and search 1 card, which is just ridiculous advantage. So that's really good, right? Whereas, let's think about another deck like Black Wings. Now, I don't want to offend any Black Wing duelists out there, but something like Instant Fusion in Black Wings is not that good, right? Because what are you gonna do? You're gonna synchro for a Black Rose Dragon. That's fine, I guess, if it doesn't get negated. You're gonna make the Force Strix guy to search Gale, but that's what Black Rowan does. Instant Fusion in that deck is just kind of underwhelming, whereas Instant Fusion in a deck like the Performapal deck, or the Angel Trumpeter deck, sets up your first turn Omegas, combos with Painful Decision. It's way better. It does more. And obviously that whole deck is just a rank 4 deck for the most part. So it does a lot more in a deck like that. And then the bad card, we gotta think about it as how bad is drawing the bad card. So in a deck like Fluffles, obviously drawing the Garnet is really bad, but it's not terrible, because at least it's a level 4 monster that you can make rank 4s with. Yeah, I guess you could say it makes Nat Beast, since you play Glow Up Bulb in that deck if you want. In BA, at least Terratop is a level 3, so if you have a Phoenix Rhino Warrior and either Leviair or maybe the Godarla Kaiju on your field, you can special this out to make a rank 3, which does advance your game state. So it's not the absolute worst thing in the world, right? So with those things in mind, you need to think about how the values or the costs of the good card and the bad card affect your deck. So if you feel the need to cut Terratop down to 1 or something, or Terratop down to 2, and then keep the 1 Togtenborg to make space or something, then that means that Terratop is not nearly good enough in your deck. Because if the card is that good, you obviously want to see it as much as possible in your opening hand, right? And if the card is that good, then drawing multiples shouldn't matter, because resolving 1 should just win you the game, That's why, for example, in a deck like Fluffles, right? Resolving 1 Brilliant Fusion, if you open multiple Brilliant Fusion, it's usually fine, because resolving 1 gets you the Wings Engrave, and then you're gonna get, draw 2 more cards, and so then search a card. So having that 1 dead Brilliant Fusion is doesn't matter, right? So with that said, you need to think about what these cards actually do for you in your deck. and you need to weigh like the good against the bad. And what I mean by that is like you need to figure out whether it's like worth opening like multiple copies of the good card, or is it worth like, you know, drawing the bad card to like make your deck still playable. Because obviously there are going to be some games where you're going to open multiple Terratops, and there are going to be some games where you open Talking to Board. But the games where you don't, like the games where you open what you want, which is like just one Terratop, like how much better is that game going to be than your average game? If it's going to be like a lot better, then yeah, you play the 3-to-1 ratio. Now, the other thing I want to address is like people play like sometimes like 3 Terratop and then like 2 Talking to Board, and that's just like really not correct, because no matter how you look at it, like drawing the one like bad card is just bad. Like that's why it's the bad card, right? And that just like messes up the probability of drawing the good card or the bad card. So if you play like, you know, 3 of these and 1 of these, you're gonna see this almost as much as you're gonna see this. Whereas if you play 3 and 1, you're gonna see this like way more. It gets a little different when you talk about things like instant fusion, but the idea is sort of the same. Like if you open like multiples, like, or you open some kind of suboptimal scenario or combination of that 3-to-1 ratio, then like, can you still play? Like, how good is it for you? And if the answer is like not that good, then I think you should just cut the engine altogether. Don't like mess around with like, you know, 3 good cards, 2 bad cards, like 2 good cards, 1 bad card, anything like that. Like just cut the engine and find something that like does more for your deck and like is just better all around. So this has just been a quick discussion on something that's really been like a huge trend in the metagame lately, and so I just wanted to, you know, sort of bring this to light, since I know a lot of players like do feel the need to like mess with this ratio. But hopefully I sort of convinced you guys that, you know, 3-to-1 is the correct ratio to play. So thank you very much for watching, and this has been Michael with TYT YuGiOh, signing out.